I'm Dr. Willett Boyer. I'm an associate scholar with the Osceola Research Institute with a focus on the historical era.
I'm Tom Harmon, a board member with the Osceola Research Institute and ground penetrating radar and GPS expert, I guess.
I'm Raymond Miller. I'm a volunteer helping today set the headstone.
Mark Lowe, Air Force veteran, just helping the team today.
David Wilson, helping, volunteer.
Jacqueline Seabrooks with the Cemetery Restoration and Preservation Society of North Florida.
And I'm Sylvester Pick, Senior with the Cemetery Restoration and Preservation Society.
Mr. Harmon and I were here approximately 2 weeks ago. He is an expert in ground penetrating radar and he uses the GPS, and we were able to relocate with ground penetrating radar and the GPS unit the exact location where the tomb underneath the soil is located. We are fortunate that it's relatively close to the area where the old headstone is located, and are using that information to set the new one. Hey, we've got to do this. Okay, I've taken a couple photos, but if you look at this, the reason this thing's been turned over is because these marks are new. I mean, this isn't just like an accident. This is stuff that, you know, has, when I first came out here in 2019, that stone certainly wasn't like in two pieces like that. It was still one piece. It was still legible. I've got photo documentation of that. This was not above the ground surface at that point. I had no idea it was here, but you can see, you know, with the new scoring, it's been run over. So that's why we've got to have the marker up again, but it's also why we've got to make sure that it's fenced off. And in the near term this year, we got to have this cemetery fenced off.
Is this where it's going?
Yeah, that's where it's
I'd
going
say
to be.
right there.
Yep. Let me know if you need any help.
Now, where do you want the face of the headstone to go? That way?
That way.
So someone would walk here and they would be able to read information on him. Okay.
Yep.
So his head would basically be in the
His head's here to the west, his
Yes.
feet are to the east, and he's facing the rising sun.
Yes, that's correct.
And they lined him up straight.
They did. Well, you can see, you know, even if you can call it that, you know, if assuming that the original headstone was just tipped or thrown off of its base because of the weight, you can still see the original would have been placed in that way too.
I'm interested in seeing what.
Captain Wilson, can I help you? You want me to do that?
All right. Do we need to be removing after we place or at the same time?
What's that?
Removing these at the same time as...
Are we just asking a question as we're doing? I'm kind of monitoring that. Pull it a minute. Okay, you've got possibly some mortar or fragments of the monument that are interred there. Just let me know if we run across anything else like that as you're pulling it out. So the plan is to place the new monument and remove the old one?
Correct.
All right. If I may ask, where will the old one go?
Technically, from what I understand, Raymond was Director of National Cemetery. From what I understand, the old one is supposed to go to the National Cemetery out in Tallahassee, and they will destroy it or whatever.
Yeah, you just take a shovel to it, or a sledgehammer.
Okay.
You break it up beyond recognition. You just take it and throw it away.
So basically, we don't have to take it to the National Cemetery?
Nah.
Okay.
Let me ask this question. Is there anything in the rules of regulation? I mean, Sylvester and Jackie, this is up to you all, you especially since you're the trustee. Is there anything in the regulations when you place a new stone and remove the old one that the old one has to be destroyed? Could we, like for example, maintain it? The reason I ask that question is we're looking at a situation where we've got a cemetery conference is coming up, and I was getting ready to forward something from Barbara Clark about that. It might be worthwhile just for everybody who is doing cemetery preservation around the state be familiar with, some of the options that are available for, replacing or protecting these types of stones, and also to see, some of what's going on in terms of like physical damage. If it's against the rules and it has to be, destroyed, I understand that, but and it's not my decision to make. But Sylvester, you're the trustee. I mean, what do you think? What would be the appropriate thing to do?
Well, in my working with different cemeteries, but not military stones, what they do is they leave the old stone in place and replace it most with a new headstone. However, I would say we go along with military procedures and tradition and protocols.
Okay, fair enough. That makes sense.
I think that's your best answer. You don't want to be.
No. I want to do
I really don't want the government coming here asking questions.
No, well,
Correct.
more important than that, I don't want to do anything that's inappropriate. I mean, the
Sure.
whole point of doing this is to honor the men who served, and I don't want to do anything that would be disrespectful or otherwise inappropriate for that. But I am, with permission, going to take some additional photos of this again, because I want to use this. Sylvester, the conference, I'm going to send it to you, but it might be, I know for FAS you had done the paper about
this is
the
white now.
pallbearers.
Right here.
It might be interesting to talk about the preservation of this site and some of what we've encountered for that.
Okay.
So, all right. So the hole, this would be the edge of the hole right here, like this.
Yeah, this would be the hole.
Approximately, yeah.
Okay. All right. Raymond, you want us to finish that, and you go get your car and bring it over here?
We'll be digging for a while.
Okay. Now, if you want me to dig too, I mean, just to. I mean, I'm just holding the camera right now. So if somebody wants to hold the camera, then we can go.
Unless we get like
I'm gonna take a couple of good photos of the old stone. And again, I'll be happy to dig if you want to take turns. Okay. $16 deep? Okay.
it's supposed to be 24 to 26 inches above the ground. And because of the weight, if you put it at 26, because in that bag I've got rocks you put down in the base,
Yes, sir.
and then it'll slow it down from sinking in.
Yeah.
'Cause that's what happens.
I think this ground's hard enough.
It's
It may
hard.
not sink real fast,
Yeah.
but it will sink
We're pretty
eventually.
close to Georgia, so it's basically Georgia place
Sure.
to a certain extent.
Yeah,
It rained, what, all day Monday, kind of?
Yeah, I was glad it rained.
But look at that, that's dry as a bone.
Right. Coming out here with Dr. Boyd, the first time I learned a lot from the archaeology point of view, and different dirt and signs of.
I can't believe I didn't have a brush in my bag.
I can't believe I forgot my toolbox. I can help with that.
I have in my truck. If you want a video, I want to in my truck. I may have a brush in there. May have.
I have one.
You have one?
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't think to put a shovel on my truck. Anybody got an extra shovel?
I brought a rake in. I brought two
We'll
rakes.
be able to put one here at a time.
And also, based on my research, configuration of the cemetery is because it pre-existed the purchase of the cemetery, and that's why you come up with those the border way that it
We're
is.
getting there.
He's trying to talk to the females. I don't know if they're coming. I'm sorry, I'm recording again.
I don't know what happened to the one that was over there.
And I also believe that there were more than one. There was more than one headstone out here in the cemetery too.
When you came out before?
All right.
When you came out?
Right. We came out in 1980, either 1982 or 1985 with
Hey, David.
George Miller.
You got the
Yeah.
Were the headstones that you looked at that point marble, or were you talking about like a brick up
car
a
right up here.
Well, this particular grave itself, the headstone was upright at that time. With this one was, yes.
Okay.
And also there was
We can back it all the way up to here right now, right?
Should be able to, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
yeah, it was always there was an acacia or cactus plant that was planted next to this grave too.
Well, Tom, when you and I were out here doing the grid, you remember right up there, not far off of the truck, and over in this way, you had some of the brick on the ground surface.
Oh yeah, back on a line probably between me and that red truck.
Well, yeah. Is
That
this
was that was where that brick was at. Was right.
when you were here in the '80s, Sylvester? Was this the only upright stone, or were there more over that way? Was there anything visible on the surface at that point?
I am pretty sure Mr. Miller said he kept the brush and stuff down, kept the trees and stuff from going up on it, but he knows that the cemetery existed. I can't remember, but I'll go back through my notes because we noted everything in our record.
Okay.
You can see the trail recently going back up to that grave.
Well, Jackie, have I copied you, or have you gotten a copy of the email from Barbara Clark at FPAN?
Well, you know, I met her, so she wants us to do a presentation
At the conference. Yeah, that's what I was wondering about. And
She's supposed to send the documentation to register
okay.
in the next week or so.
Okay.
Well, Tom, one thing on that regard also, I got, and part of the reason I asked that, Jackie, is I got an email from somebody else who is one of the mappers in the geospatial department at USF. When I leave here, I'm gonna go back by the office and I'm gonna, I need to take a look at the original logbook that shows the cemetery survey. He's looking at the Springfield. He saw our video, Sylvester, on the interview with Reverend Thompson. But the thing is, you know, he is looking at the Springfield Cemetery. And the thing is, the cemeteries that are like Springfield church cemeteries, I think, are the ones that he's looking at on this map. But Reverend Thompson, you know, indicated he's not in charge of those. Apparently those are run directly by, I guess, the elders of the church. He was talking about it the first time I met him, but they're the ones that are over right by the church, not the ones that are out there that are part of the Pallbearers Association, you know, either over by the bus barn or other stuff. So I want to give this guy some detailed information and also try to find out, you know, from our maps if the ones I think he's talking about are in fact those ones that are run by the church rather than the society.
Okay.
Yeah.
Certainly. By the way, Jack and everybody else.
Thank you.
On each side.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Nobody's moving in. I mean, it's going to be quiet. Nobody coming out here.
What you got, Sylvester?
All right. Well, this morning before I left, I got a phone call to say that
That's hard. This is. I've been in Marva. Do what? 7 different locations before I came down. Do what?
Tom? 2019. That was one. You see where the crack is across the bottom?
Yep.
This was one solid piece. That lower crack had started, but it hadn't been pulled apart, and that stone was not in two pieces the way it is now.
correct. All right.
We've got photos of that.
Back to what I was saying about the good news on, especially with the Pallbearer Society, and I'm also going to go back with the Reverend Thompson and his dates in the Pallbearer Society started. That was Pallbearer Cemetery from 1840 something. It was not Pallbearer Society. Start 1897. All Pallbearer Societies, from the international all the way down to the progressive.
Well, I was thinking about that, but here's the thing. As I understood the way that Reverend Thompson talked about, obviously, yeah, the formal incorporated pallbearer society, the way we're thinking of them now, would have had to start in the later 1800s because African Americans weren't allowed, in Florida at least in particular, to even read or write, let alone incorporate a corporation. I think he's referring to oral history, and I want to see if they've got anything in writing from the 1840s on up about the enslaved people, because even if it wasn't able to be formally written down or formally recorded, the recorded society probably is drawing on and has continuity with the previous unrecorded, society that may have been maintained by oral history, rather than that. Also, there may be another form of documentation yet. He's talking about 1840 when Casa Bianca was begun.
Right.
We have the digital versions of the county property records from 1826 all the way up to 1871. And what I want to do is try to find the ones that refer to Casa Bianca and see if any of them refer possibly to setting aside or usage of land within that for religious purposes.
Right.
William Wirt, even though he was never here, he's Andrew Jackson's Attorney General, but Wirt land, that his family owned and the Randalls did refer in both letters and some of their documentation to a church building or church structure that their enslaved people had created.
Okay.
Yeah, or enslaved workers had created, I should say.
Great. I'll tell you what, it's
Next step is just take that.
it's a good feeling to be able to look back at some of the stuff that we first started on now and see that a lot of it coming to fruition.
It's also important to remember that there's multiple sources of documentation, and the fact that it's not in one may not mean that it's not in another.
Correct.
Right.
Yep.
But I'm saying this thing may have been part of what they used to mark.
Oh, this? Oh, definitely. Tom, take a look at
I
this.
don't remember this sticking up out of the ground
It wasn't
when we were here before.
And Tom, look right.
Oh,
where
I
he's
just
got
pulled
the-
it back
the
up now.
marker. You see the layering. You see how you see how you've got a denser area of clay right there underneath. I think that's what you may see with. All right, now look at that. You see right where he's going down there. There's more of it down there. When I was looking at much older burials at the Hunter Martin site, where you got like sand and a layer of clay on that, that's what you saw. You had a clay layer up near the surface that was where you had turned soil from down deeper.
We need a little bit deeper to put the rock in the base.
Okay. Let me know if you need
Relief.
But you see what I'm talking about, Tom? You see how you've got the clay chunks in the sidewall in the midst of the dirt?
Yep.
That's what I've seen in every burial pit that I've seen so far, whether it's the older ones like from a mission church or I saw the same thing in Georgia when we were looking at the Civil War veteran and his sons that the descendant wanted to have moved. If you go down into a clay layer, you're going to have clay chunks mixed in the soil, and that clay right there should not be up at that depth right below the humus. So we are within the area of the burial pit here.
Should have brought my bigger trowel with me.
Well, I should have brought my toolbox.
Well, no, I mean, I left my big trowel down there at the truck.
Well, the thing. All right, now hold on just.
Okay.
I know you got to get deeper, but can I look at something real quick, Tom? Can you come around this side so you can see what I'm seeing? Right there. You see the white chunk or fragment that's in the wall underneath the turned clay soil?
Piece of root.
No, wait, no. Are you sure that one white section is root, or is that?
This is the rock on
yeah.
the bottom.
That's root. Okay, all right, because we had a white fragment of mortar over here in the soil that was turned. I'm just trying to make sure we're not looking at that's there. Okay. All right. But you see how you got the clay chunks in the soil? That is 100% typical archaeologically of a burial pit, because you've got an area where you've got the pit that's dug into deeper soil to the underlying hard pan or clay layer, and that's turned up. At the Central Florida site in Marion County that was a Spanish mission church, that's different than the missions up here that were in this clay soil. That's on an area that's mostly sand, but there's an underlying clay layer by the Aquawaha, and when we found that location, when we were first doing shovel testing, you could see the layer of clay chunks right beneath the upper part of the soil, just like you see in this pit. See how he's going all the way across, and you see that clay chunk layer right there below the humus? There's no question it's the pit.
We have a smaller shovel to get in this tight spot. You want to measure?
Yeah.
Where we at, Tom?
Probably about 17 inches.
Let me see that shovel, that hand trowel.
You know what?
Let's see what I see from this
I
side.
might take it
You see what
down.
I'm talking about, Sylvester? If you
Yeah,
want to
that's
film
what-
that. You see how the upper
Ah,
layer
there you
right there,
go.
the
There you
humus, you've got that dark brown soil, that's the organics. You see how you've got that lighter brown soil, but you see right underneath the gray soil, the organics, how you've got chunks of harder clay.
Right.
That's where you've got the pit that is dug down into the underlying clay and hard pan, and that has been turned up, and you're going to see a layer of it and chunks of it
I think we're
through
set
the
with-
pit,
if we just get
especially
all
up
that
at the
out
surface,
there.
because that's going to be the
Just
highest
shovel
part, you know, or that's going to be the area there that gets turned up, and you're going to see that kind of layer there. So there's no question
there's
this is a
the-
burial pit.
No, she's
Aside from the GPR, you got the archaeological evidence.
worried about that. Got some sticks.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Let me ask this question. I mean, in terms historically of the military practice, when does the U.S. military first begin to issue these types of stones?
Well, they had to go back and make them for the World War I and then Spanish American. They've been making them a long time.
So did they start doing this at the time immediately after World War I? Are we talking about approximately a century since the military began issuing these types of monuments?
I'm not sure on that.
You're not sure. May I ask, would it be possible to find out? I'm curious because I'd like to know when exactly it's likely that this stone was placed. Was it placed soon after his service? You know,
That
in
stone
World
was
War.
placed in 1948.
This was specifically
Right.
His
placed in
brother
1948.
ordered that stone in 1948.
So we have that
We're just
documentation.
going to ride it to the ground.
Oh, you want
It's
to?
gonna naturally-
Gentlemen, you need some help?
Captain,
He understands. He understands leverage. I like this man.
Don't hold the bottom.
No, don't hold the bottom. Just let it.
It's just going to naturally.
There you go.
There we go. You got that?
yeah, it wasn't Captain.
There would have had to have been some kind of.
We're thinking maybe that rebar or something was put down there to mark the spot.
We're going to take the
something
rebarb
similar.
out with us
Well,
when we
the
leave.
reason I asked that question, Jackie, is this. Ellis McKinney and Mrs.
Oh.
has had us doing that. Ellis McKinney has about a dozen graves that are marked like that. They're either marked with rebar or iron pipe or something of that kind.
That's what they would do. They would use that.
I'm going.
Need some help? I mean, in carrying it.
Nah, it's just like two people.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see the shovel.
I like things that work simple.
Oh,
I hadn't thought of that, but that is really a very good way to do this. Oh, yeah, I got it. Oh, you got it? All right. What about this stone? Do we want to move that as well?
unless it's in their way, I guess.
Well, that's what I was asking. Gentlemen, do you want this stone moved out of the way?
Not yet.
Okay.
Alright, just move. Alrighty, here's that back. So, we'll come this way. Yep. And then lift it into the middle. You okay, Coach? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Now we're gonna bounce it a couple times, right? Go. Yep. Now we can take it out. They're off.
And while the stone is being put in place, I'm going to go ahead and just a little bit of history to Dave Jones. He was the older brother of Enoch Jones, who was the
Pull it up. I'm gonna put some rocks underneath.
better known in the
Can you do a little
southeastern Jefferson County as Mr. Dunny Jones. He was a farmer in the Flatwoods, and his nephew was Paul Jones, who was also a military veteran. Passing, I think Paul Jones may have passed in 2022 or 2023.
Here, I'm gonna tamp it down all around it. Yeah. Hold on, let me just tamp it before we put any more on there.
Is it just me, do y'all feel the pride that's sort of kind of swelling up in you as you?
I'm sorry?
So is it just me, or do y'all feel the pride that's swelling up inside of you as you the stone is put down?
This man is having his benefits that he is due rightfully, having his benefits restored. When the old headstone fell and was broken, excuse me. That's right.
I do apologize.
So he's having his benefits restored. So yes, that makes a veteran. Pardon?
He's having his dignity restored.
Of course.
I have done tamping for fence posts more times than I can count. I can do it for this. So I need a little more down on that end. I'm sorry. Check here.
Good there.
Good there. I wonder how our favorite mutual person is going to feel when he comes in.
Mine's still running.
I'm curious as to how certain onlookers will feel about seeing this stone replaced and in its best condition.
I guess it doesn't matter how he feels.
He should feel pride in the fact that it's now back to the way that it should be.
And I think that everyone in Jefferson County too would feel that same pride, knowing that there are people who care enough for those who have given their all for this country, and seeing those who come behind to restore that which was destroyed.
Raymond, you want to pick these up now?
Yeah, what do you want to do?
Store them.
Okay.
Coach, before we lift these up, I'd like to take a picture of the old one and the new.
Sure, absolutely.
Excuse me, sir.
Uncle.
That's part of why you're having a problem. I think you're not getting leverage because that's not the actual stuff.
All right, that's where the stone is. Hold on just a minute. See how the stone runs at an angle there?
Yeah, I just didn't want to knock it into
Oh,
this.
you don't want to knock it into that? Well, then let's do it this way then. Just give me just a second.
What you're watching now is the removal of the broken headstone. It's in pieces, and
Give me a second. Let me get it under and get you a little bit more leverage. There we are.
okay, and now let me ask this question very quickly. Okay, now was this all one piece stone, or was it a stone base? Because we had these three pieces here. Now look at was it the same? Well, this is
That looks different.
That's a different. Well, you remember
These two are
Coach
the
said
same
this
two
is
go
different.
together. That does not.
So that's why Coach was wondering if there was another grave out
Well,
here that should have had a
there's
headstone.
something right there.
Well, Tom, there's not just
date
something right there. You see
passed
right over there?
here.
About a foot to the left of your left foot. There's something under the ground right there. There's more than one something. And yes, this is almost certainly from another burial. It doesn't show any of the signs you see on the marble like bases for some of the monuments we've seen at the other spots. Right over there on the other side of I guess it would be Salt Road. You've got the church that has several World War I markers there. I think there's at least one of them that has a marble base.
The Elizabeth Baptist.
Elizabeth Baptist Church. Sorry, I was drawing a blank. But at Elizabeth Baptist, that was one of the places I noticed a number of World War I veterans markers, and I think there's at least one that has like the marble headstone in the base. There's the same thing at Mount Maria Church down at Lamont.
Now, what are you going to do with the old monument?
Yeah, take him to the National Cemetery and have him destroy him.
all right.
Reason is you can't have two headstones.
No.
That's where the issue is. So even anywhere, the requirement is you place a new one, destroy the old one.
But that means since this is separate from the old one, this should probably stay here, should it not?
This is the bottom part.
That's the bottom
That's
of
the
that
bottom.
one. This is a separate marker, but there's nothing on it to indicate whom it was. You guys need any help?
And Coach, you wanted to say something as this was being, as it's loaded into your car
Well,
about the military
happy
tradition?
to see that Mr. Jones finally has his headstone restored that he so richly deserves, and so that he will be remembered, and his relatives can come and honor his service and honor his life at his grave. So, very rewarding morning.
Something below the ground.
This is
There may
the
be the
exact
wall,
wording that
there may be-
Dave Jones, his headstone indicates he was from Florida, and he achieved the rank of private before he was discharged. He was a member of the 447th Reserve Labor Battalion of the Quartermaster Corps in World War I. He was born in July 1st, 1890, and died April 7th, 1923. Now, at some point, as I recall, Dave Jones moved to Lake City, and that's where he joined the Army. And then from there, he went to Jacksonville, where the 447th Reserve Labor Battalion was stationed. And then he came back after the war to Jefferson County, and he died in 1923 of ulcers.
Let me just ask this question from a historical perspective. Was there anything other than ulcers? Did they know the cause of the ulcers? I mean, this is 100 years ago, so they probably wouldn't have had, you would have been lucky to have x-rays, which existed at the time, but not much more than that.
I have no idea. I mean, I've thought the same question. His family may need to request his military records, and then maybe that'll give you a better idea. And when the family requests the military records, they can also request his medical records at the same time.
Did he go overseas?
I do not think he went overseas.
Okay.
And I don't want to say yes or no, but I don't think he did. I think that from the time he joined until the war was over was about a year.
Yeah. Okay.
The other thing is just noting the service that he was in, the Quartermaster Corps. I've seen something similar where you've got the same sort of thing with an African-American World War veteran from an engineering battalion. The Quartermaster Corps, of course, is providing services and stuff for logistics. The engineering battalions, they might be in combat, but the thing is, they're not like active combat units. They would be the ones that would be building bridges or building trenches or building revetments. You had, in the world of a century ago, a lot of debate in the African American community about joining the military, and there were a limited number of outfits, of African American outfits in World War I anyway, who were in direct combat, partly because of that. I mean, the most famous actual African American combat veterans from World War I are the Harlem Hellcats, the ones that are known from New York. You also had a number of people here that would have French military decorations, because some of them, rather than joining the U.S. Army, ended up joining the French Army.
Right. Exactly.
But this man, put in his service. It's
1873 is when they adopted the first headstones.
Okay.
1867, they passed a law requiring each grave to be marked with a small headstone or block. However, permanent stone design wasn't adopted until 1873.
Okay. So you have the beginning of the placement of military headstones 2 years after the Civil War, and then a few years after that, 1873, is when you have the design you see here.
Now, they have different iterations. Spanish-American War had a different one. Civil War has a different one. This is pretty much the standard now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you so much. Hey, I'm going to move my car in, Raymond, and then we could come. If a veteran should render a hand salute, and a civilian, what we call a civilian salute, place the hand over the heart. And so what I will do is I will say, present arms, and then I will say, hold it for 3 seconds, and then present arms, and then order arms. Couldn't think of it there. So, does anybody want to say anything from Mr. Dave Jones before we give him, show him his honors. Well, all right. Private Dave Jones, we thank you for your service to America. We thank you that you did your part to keep America safe during World War I. Your life was cut short, and we thank you for your service. May God bless you, may God bless your family, and may God continue to bless America, our home sweet home. Present arms. Order arms. Thank y'all for being here. And we shall see y'all